Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I've got 4 fun packs that are going into the shop right now, and I wanted to quickly show you what is in the fun packs. I'm going to start with this bag that every fun pack will be put into before it's mailed. These are curious times we are living in, and I have had several stories shared with me about mail that they made it, but they looked like they had been around the world. Anyway, consider this a bonus. Each bag already has some items in it. They will vary. It'll be book pages, pictures, whatever, just something like this. These are some bags that I had put to the side, and they already had some ephemera in them, so let's just get that out of the way. These are motivational cards. It's unlocking your potential. All of these cards are unlocking your potential, and then when you open it, it's from the Edge Learning Institute, and there's a quotation in each one. This says, if you wish to escape criticism, do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. So everyone's got one of those. I think that has a vintage look to it. I've recently found some new playing cards, and I will include these playing cards in each one. This is not an old card, I don't think. It's shiny and new, but I love these images. And all of the cards, it'll be different on this side because when you have a deck of playing cards, they're all different. But you will get one of the royal cards with a person on it or a figure on it. And then the cats, the vintage cats, aren't they beautiful? These are from Chesapeake and Ohio Railway. And then these old Chicago playing cards I found. You can tell that they're old. There's a book plate, and I have a beautiful set of postcards. Absolutely gorgeous. These are 2006 Cavallini paper, and all of these are different, but they are all just as beautiful as this one. And there are 3 little Rolodex file pages. These packs are fun. They each have one of these bags, and it was a U.S. Mint bag that has been cut down. You can see on the front, please do not cut bag when opening, return to U.S. Mint cents, $50, and that's just a neat thing. I love that grungy cotton look. Each one has a piece of this brightly colored floral print. It reminds me of something like Monet. There are a few little fabric samples, and the fabric, it's not necessarily a matching set. You could use this together or you could use this together, but I did want to put in some extra pieces that I had lately. Each one has an envelope with some large safety pins, a metal book plate or file marker, and an old key, and some brass brads. Each one has a textile sample. And then, I don't know, maybe you remember the day I was stamping on these index cards that I had tea stained and hung outside on the clothesline. I did some stamping on some photograph paper, but each one has a set of these images that I was using to stamp with. And I think they're really neat. They're, varying degrees of faded or inked, whichever you'd like to say. There's a piece of paper with art stamped on there. And these are neat. I don't know if you've heard of Spoonflower. That is a local place. You can send in designs and have wallpaper, fabric, and things like that printed. These are some designs. We had some samples, and I bought some of those. Each one has a piece of photograph paper with an envelope that goes with that. This is an unusual postcard. I am not a talker, and you see the 3 owls there. Each one has one of those. Each pack has got a couple of these postcards. They are foreign, different male figures on them. I really don't know what it says, but I thought they were interesting. There's a postcard that is from 2002. It's pre-stamped. And then each one has a Muka postcard. They're all different. I think that's really beautiful. And here is a card. This is just like a party invitation, but I love that it looks like a ticket. Each one has one of these cards, just a note with the craft style paper envelope. And then I love this. This is another postcard similar to the one with the owls, but this has the vulture on it. All I want to do is live. There's another spoonflower pattern. And then here's a card, just a blank card. The print on the back is pretty. It's this nice heavy paper, and then we have the image on the front. Each one has got several postcards from this set of orchids, and they are really beautiful. That came out of a book of postcards. I don't see a date on the actual postcards, but these are really beautiful. You could distress those or keep them like they are. Each one has a tiny little place card. That's a vintage hallmark, and it has the turkey on it. And then there's a little card with a kitten. And here is a vintage greeting card. I can't remember on these if each one has exactly the same thing, but if it's not the same thing, it will be similar. It's all, I tried to make sure that it's equally distributed. Every single item that I put into these fun kits, I only do as many as I have enough pieces for that are alike or from the same set. And then we have this interesting postcard. It looks like a lady coming up out of the wood. That's an art piece. There's an index card with some ledger lines on it. Each one has a butterfly envelope like this. They may be different colors. There's another postcard that's pre-stamped. I believe that one's 1998. And then here are some other cards that I stamped. These are really old ink stamps. They're vintage from the 70s. So you can see the little squirrel there, and there's a rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. I can't remember if that one is older, but these definitely are. The hand pointing, and then we have the little mouse with a tin cup to its ear. The cat, that's one of the ones from the 70s. And then we have various butterflies on that. I believe these are a little bit older. This is from the Dollar Tree, but let's see. I don't see a date on here. Anyway, they may or may not be older. I just found quite a few of these, and you can see it's the real flower stickers. There are a couple of, or three, I should say, business envelopes in here. They're fun to use because you can put images behind that cellophane. Each one has a piece of this beautiful scented paper. I believe that was Crabtree and Evelyn, and that's like a drawer liner paper. Each one has got a vintage map. These maps are really neat. The paper is heavy and nice. Feels a little bit different than regular paper. And on this side you've got, of course, the topographical or geography side or whatever. And then on this side we've got images of birds and just things about the area. Each one has one of these programs. They're all a little bit different. Pretty old paper there. I think that might be from the 70s. Yeah, 1972. And then each one has a letter from the 1950s with the stamp and the postmark. And these, of course, are all a little bit different because they're original old ephemera. And you can see the letter in here. There's 3 pages there. I love things like that. And then each one has an airmail envelope. There's an old piece of stationery. It's one of the trifold. And then there is yet another one. That's really sweet. That looks like it's from the 70s. And I think this card is pretty. 1994. Each one has one of these bags. It is shiny on the inside, sealed at one end and opened at the other. I feel like you could do something fun with that. And then maybe you saw these recently. I came across these heavy, like craft paper or cardstock that goes around a cup of soup. But I love the illustration on that and the heating instructions. You could cut tags out of that. I love to cut little paper tags out of heavy craft paper and then use them to hang in my journals. Each one has part of a very large poster. I love things like this because it inspires me when I'm working with my art journal to look at the brush strokes or the pen strokes, and you might see cross hatching or different colors used together, maybe just different interesting things. Faces, patterns, And there's another piece of this paper. That one has two. They may all have two, but I will say there's at least one in each pack. And then there's a couple of large pieces of paper. Let's see. 3 pieces of paper. I had to fold those because they're pretty big, but you could tear that down, and that's some nice heavy paper. This is a page of stickers from a winery. They never got used. You can see it says Crack and Peel on the back, and it's got the house or the chateau. You could use those in something. And I love this wallpaper. So each one has got a piece of this wallpaper with the French buildings. I love the different fonts on there. I love just the way that's printed, the way that looks. And I can put this on top of that. There are a couple more pieces, or 3 more pieces of the heavy paper. Notice that there are holes across the top, but that is nice heavy paper, and it's got kind of a vintage look. Then we have this wallpaper. I had to fold it into thirds. I love this so much. I love the colors. I'm probably going to put some of this into my Poetic Rust journal. I love the scale, the apples, these bottles here. So that is everything in that pack. I may put a few extras in. I've been out here working all day and sorting things. These are going to be listed in my Birdsong shop. These are not in Etsy. And thank you so much for looking. Again, there are only 4 of these. They are all just alike. Any items that differ, it will only be because, like for instance this, there are 4 different cards, but look how beautiful they all are. And these are really nice postcards. This was an expensive set. So that's where the differences will be, but otherwise they all have exactly the same thing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with some more ephemera packs, vintage ephemera. Bye for now.